welcome to P&W Repair. Today on the channel, got a new project. This here behind me is a, not sure on the year, late 50s, Minneapolis Moline 445. Our first step is going to be to pull the carburetor and rebuild on that. It appears though the needle is stuck open, and as soon as you open the fuel shutoff, it just dumps fuel out of the carburetor. So where we're going to start. Hang around. Let's do this jazz, shall we? The guy was not super clear on whether or not he had split this and tried to clean it. He said at one point that he did, but earlier in our conversation he said he hadn't messed with it. So, I mean, by the look of it, I mean, I guess if you're not, don't do thorough jobs on what you're doing, maybe you wouldn't worry about all the crap built up on the outside, and you don't actually soak them in something like chem dip, but I don't know. We're gonna find out. Either he doesn't, and that seat, or that needle and seat, are stuck wide open, or he did in fact get in here and mess something up in the process. So we'll find out. We'll do it upright and strip it down completely. I'm gonna pull this throttle blade out so we can pull the throttle shaft. That little knurled lock washers and those screws. That's kind of interesting for this thing's age. Or are we going to have a problem with this side? Got it. Throttle plate. Throttle shaft. Pull our float out. Float is attached to our needle. Just hooks over. Nothing too crazy, huh? Oops. Don't want to lose that spring. Don't know if I'll have a new one or not. Well, it's got a rubber needle, or yeah, a rubber seat on the needle, and it's still pliable, so. Oh. Well, that's less than ideal. You guys hear that? We got a hole in one of these pontoons. That ain't gonna work, is it? But that being the case, it shouldn't have been stuck open. It should have been stuck closed. Unless that was a repair, there is No, they were repaired. There was some kind of bit of solder in there or something floating around because they are not full of fluid. Interesting. Still a possibility we just have a bad seat. And see, this gasket looks like it's, I mean, it doesn't look very new, but it's just not very compressed. Like these bowl halves were never really installed 100% right or tight enough. Whatever. It'll be good when I'm done with this, as long as I'm gonna try to. I'll have to look at the kit I ordered, and I'm not gonna know till the parts are here. You know, half of these kits anymore, crap they send you is not correct as far as needle and seat goes. Maybe we'll get lucky this go around. A guy can hope. I'm gonna try to pull the seat out. Maybe bigger freaking screwdriver. Oh, it's already loose. It's not tight either. I gotta wonder if this guy was in there. Left everything loose. How's the gasket? It does not appear to be new. Well, there's rust all over the base of the seat, so that's probably less than ideal as well. Who knows? People do weird things. Go ahead and pull some of these jets. Maybe if I can get them out without boogering them up any more than they already are. Fingers crossed. That one's just a little too wide. Damn it. How about this one? You think there's junk falling out of this carburetor? Can't imagine this guy actually took it apart. It's in need of a rebuild. So we got that jet. That was in so that would be right there in the bowl of the carburetor. Put that in our basket. Go ahead and pull this through this choke. I will say I noticed when I was taking the carburetor off that even the lines attaching the tank to the carburetor were loose. Maybe all this fuel was just running out of the lines and somehow appeared like it was coming out of the carburetor throat when it really wasn't. I do not know. Well, there's one of the screws for the choke plate. They have a smaller washer, no lock washer on them when compared to the throttle plate screws. So I don't mix them up. Might as well mention that. Okay, our choke plate should slide on out of there. Oh, that's an odd design. It actually goes through the shaft. Interesting. So I'm sure it's like a great time wiggling it out of here. Maybe. Might have to get some needle nose. I can't really get my fingers on it. Or alignment pliers. Get a real good bite on it. I'm gonna break it in style. Jeez Louise. I mean, it moved the smallest amount. I think it's just all the junk that's built up on the plate. It moved a good bit, but there we go. Wow. Whew. Yeah, it actually slides in a channel in that shaft. Interesting. Odd way of doing things. So, what do we need to do here? Looks like our hold down bracket for the choke has one screw we got to pull out of here. Just one lonely screw. And that is a traditional spring style lock washer on that one. See if we can't pry it out of its home, huh? That'll do. So that's how that's going to work. Is the choke lever is actually going to be on the bottom side of this stop, and it's under spring tension like that. It naturally wants to pull off of that and go ahead of that. So just like so, that'll work. We'll put it in like that. Let it soak like that. See how it does. Oh yeah, there's cobwebs in here. Yeah, this was not a part. No way, no how. A lot of these typically come with the choke, I guess freeze plug for lack of a better term. But I don't know, being that I don't have my kit yet, if I have that or not, so I'm going to leave that there. Plus, it, for whatever reason, appears to be shiny, clean brass, like it may be newer, so I'm not going to mess with it at the moment. Jesus, this screw's seen better days. Like someone had a field day with it. I don't know. What is that for? I don't know if that's a bowl drain. I want it out though. I don't really want to leave anything in there. Pull that one. That must be the air bleed. I'm sure it's standard. We'll 8 mil? Oh yeah. Oh well, look how tight that is. I'm sure that had no effect on the leaks I was having either. Jesus, dude. Some people. Yeah, so that's an air bleed. That needs to be taken down further. Just throw that in the vise and do that real quick. Well, that doesn't look great. Why is that all bent? You just ram it into the seat, I guess, huh? Jesus. Hopefully we got a new one of those. So, probably really going to battle this screw, but it really does not look happy, so that's going to have to be removed regardless. We have our, I believe that would be the main jet down below that air bleed. Looks like a freaking monster jet on it too. Like, I wonder if they drilled this. So that looks awfully big for a 4-cylinder jet at any elevation. I don't know, it is an updraft application. Maybe there's some kind of difference there. But you know that Zenith I just did on that trencher was an updraft as well, and I don't remember that main jet being such an enormous orifice, but it was a 2-cylinder versus a 4. Or no, that's actually the emulsion tube. Emulsion tube? Whatever. And it actually comes out from the bottom. That is interesting. Interesting. Okay. It's out. Yeah, I mean, I have that one screw and that half left. Really would like to get that jet out. That's interesting. The bracket for the float pin is actually separate from the casting, and it's just riveted into the upper portion of the carburetor casting. Oh, there's another screw that's loose. Either all this stuff vibrated loose over time, or this guy was in there monkeying around with it and it either forgot to tighten things or under tightened things. Who knows? And I didn't count, so that's the air bleed right there. I didn't count what it was to a stop. we're gonna, with how this thing was just pouring fuel, I don't trust that it was even adjusted right, because I'm not seeing anything that would have caused the issue it had. So we're gonna run it just like any old carburetor, and we'll go turn off a stop as a base adjustment and see where that gets us. Usually that's about all you need. So we got that out. I need that jet, and I need this inlet. This jet is what I really want out, but it's pretty chewed up. Someone already went at it with the wrong size screwdriver and did some work on it. So, May, trying to think what I could use. Maybe a bit. Well, that bit's a little too wide. So. May end up modifying one of these bits. Wow, that one's even wider. Okay, yeah, I'll grind one of those. What's gonna happen? Those are cheap. Screwdrivers, not so cheap. So, take a grinder to that in a bit, but start by pulling, or we'll finish for the moment by pulling that inlet bar. What size is that? Half? 7/16? Probably about a half, right? It's gonna be a 7/16. Yep. How she goes. So, on this half, the only thing we got to worry about is that last jet. This half, just that screw. Get back with you guys after I grind this bit. And we'll try to get that jet out. So I got my bit ground. Got it to fit just right into this jet. I did already go ahead and crack it loose. And it is coming out. It's still tight, but it's coming out of there. Probably wouldn't hurt to take a little more off of this bit, but got it out. So that would do it for that half. With something like this, how boogered up it is, it's pretty likely I'm not going to get it out by clamping down on the circumference of that bolt or with a slotted screwdriver. I'm probably going to end up having to weld a nut to this, but I'm going to clamp it down in my vise and really give it my best go at it with a big screwdriver on it. So let me get set up for that. I'll change your guys' angle. Give this our best go. Don't have high hopes, but actually I'm going to get a wrench. Put that on our screwdriver. And I'm just hesitant to really put much more pressure in the vise on that, but it's going to require a whole lot of downward pressure on it to actually get that screwdriver bit to bite. Yeah, it's already trying to walk out. Nope. Welded it is. So we want to start this process by getting all the crap built up on there off. If we have something to actually stick a nut to. Just wire brush that a bit. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do a little bit of preheat on this. I'm going to put the nut up there now. Get her roughly centered-ish. We'll just heat it up with some propane. That should do the trick. Go ahead and get a glove on real quick. Probably a smart idea to change my hood from grind to weld first, though, huh? That'll probably work a little better. Figured out easiest way to do this so that nut doesn't just walk all over before it actually starts adhering to what you're trying to pull. Go straight down on what you're trying to pull, build that puddle up to fill that cavity of the nut. Like that. So I'm going to let that cool down for a second, or a couple minutes. And don't want to quench it or anything. Let it cool down naturally. And I will get back with you guys when it has some time to cool off, and then we'll break it loose. So we've had some time for it to cool down to the touch. The one thing I will add is a bit of penetrating oil while that's still warm, not, red hot, but still warm. And with any luck, it'll spin out. Or it'll break the nut off, and we will repeat the process. Unfortunately, that is exactly how this goes more times than not. So being that our first attempt failed, I'm going to go over another method and try a different method here to get this to work. Rather than putting the nut on there, preheating the nut and the component I'm trying to extract, I'm going to go ahead and build some weld up on the head of this in a vertical fashion. It'll just be tacks. It'll build it up. Then I'll simply put the nut on top of that column and weld the nut to that column. Try to fill around that. I'll have to use a bigger nut to do so, but we'll see. It's another method that does work. Just gotta try different things sometimes. Kind of like that. From that point, stick that sucker on there. See how that works. Actually, rather than letting it totally cool, wait till it's not glowing red. It's still warm now that we got penetrating oil in there. And we'll just find out. If this doesn't work, being that I have a bit of that actually above the surface of the carburetor's body, I'll take a bigger nut. If this does not extract it, next I'm going to take a bigger nut that will actually fit over that entire deal, and then we'll fill the cavity of the nut like that. So fingers crossed, with all that heat in there, this will come out. I do believe that is on its way out. Yep. Cool. So that is simply a bold drain. No, there's got to be more to that. It might just be a drain. It looks like just a regular old plug. So I'll have to find a new one, but there you have it. How to extract one when you're screwed. Two different methods. Sometimes that first one works great, sometimes it doesn't. As soon as the parts kit arrives in the mail, we'll get to reassembly. That's going to do it for today. Well, fellas and fellettes, it's going to do it for this video. It's kind of already at a decent length, so we'll end up doing a part 2 and do the reassembly as well as the installation and trying to fire the tractor up. I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.